I'd like to call the City of Elkhorn Common Council October 16th, 2023, 5:30 meeting to order. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Bruce Lechner.
Here.
Tim Sharota.
Here.
Gary Payson Jr.
Here.
Ron Dunwoody.
Here.
Scott McClory is absent. Ken Meinel.
Here.
Carol Young. Here.
Next, we have public comment. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes each. The public may speak on any item of the city concern, whether or not the topic is included on this agenda. However, if the topic does not pertain to an item listed on the council agenda, the council is not permitted to address or discuss the matter during this meeting. Under open meeting laws, the council must notice an item on the agenda to allow discussion on that matter. If council is not permitted to discuss your concerns, your comments will be considered and may be placed on a future agenda for further discussion. Is anybody here for public comment tonight? If you guys just want to take your turns, come up to the podium, please, and state your name and address. And like I said, we are limited to 3 minutes each, so.
Hey, how are you? Doing all right. Do I just sit right here?
Yes.
There at the podium, wherever you feel comfortable at.
I'll stand.
As long as the microphone picks it up, we're good.
I can talk loud. Hi there, I'm Robert Craig. I live at 1001 Voss Road here in the city. I'd like to address the council. They may or may not be aware of a slaughterhouse that they want to put in across the road on Voss Road. Voss Road is a small, no shoulder, unmarked. The farmer across the street wants to put in about a 17 spot parking lot with prefab buildings, and it's going to be septic. So this does not do anything for the city. It in fact hurts the city. It decreases my property value and the rest of the neighbors. We have to worry about quality of life, more traffic on this road. And with more traffic, we'll call for more city resources. He also wants to put the driveway to this facility at the intersection of Market Street and Voss Road, which it basically turns it into a four-stop intersection. So I don't think it does anything good for the city. We do have our concerns about our quality of life, and this goes with the future planning of Elkhorn. This is putting agricultural manufacturing. This isn't about stopping a small farm, right? I moved across the street from a farm. I like living across that farm. What I don't want to live across, nor do many in the neighborhood want to live across, is a slaughterhouse, where there's also going to be retail space. This does not go anything with planning. This is not against the small farmer. This is about agricultural industry manufacturing. So, and I would like the city to do what they can to maintain the 2040 plan that they have in place, where that will eventually become all residential. It's the way the city will grow. It's inevitable. So, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next.
I'll follow him because he's my neighbor. My name is Jim Peltier. I live on Pheasant Way, and I'm here to address the same topic he is, but I brought a couple examples of things that I pulled up online regarding the slaughterhouse. Number one, you guys care about the taxes for the city and the growth of the city, and I have a half a dozen articles that I pulled online of the reduction of property taxes that you'll get from the diminished value of property of all the homes that are going to be affected by the slaughterhouse. Number two is, I don't know if you guys know of Sanimax. Has anybody ever heard of Sanimax out of Green Bay? So you know what they do, right? They receive materials from deceased animals and turn it into soap. And the people in that county have filed petition upon petition about the stench, but also the fact that they've had semi-trailers of these deceased animals spilled over into their intersections. Now, if you're talking about having this intersection right next to my home or in front of Hanson's or anything like that, and something like this happens, that's a huge health code issue that I don't think we would want, especially if we're planning on having a residential of the 2040 plan, right? The other thing I did pull up for you guys was the concern about having a facility like that within a half mile. I think there's a code out there. The state of Wisconsin passed a code that you're not allowed to have a facility like this within a half a mile of any residence. I'd ask you, I think, are you going to speak to that? Well, okay. You have all of these different health code violations and concerns about bacteria and the insects, the bacteria, the air pollution that will directly affect all of the residents within the Belinsky and the Kennedy houses. You guys just put in a Taco Bell, a new Starbucks. It's growing. It's a beautiful area. I can't see why anybody would want to approve this. So I'm against something like this, and I just wanted to voice my concern that if you guys don't step in and try to prevent this, a lot of people will be affected by it, and I can't see how it would help us, or Elkhorn, for that matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, anybody?
Hello, committee. My name is Nicholas Heiser. I live at 931 Voss Road. I live directly across the street. Let me first start off by saying thank you for allowing me the opportunity to talk. Like I said, I live directly across. There has been multiple times where the farmer who lives across the street from us, with his fences, the cows have gotten out. They have wandered into our yards, into the street. As a neighbor and as a friend, I have always helped bring the cows back in. I've never called the police, never reported him. I just helped doing a neighborly thing. My biggest concern, besides our property tax values, but my biggest concern is my children. And what I've read online about the bacteria growth and everything, if there's not proper septic, and how it can affect my children, greatly scares me. I've grown up in Elkhorn since my whole life I've been here, except for when I was in the military. I brought my family out to Voss Road because it's a nice area, it's a nice community, but I'm greatly concerned about the effects that it could have on my children. That scares me. I hope that you guys take a hard look at this and please shut this down. We are all for farmers and supporting. My wife, her whole family lives on Bray Road. We're all farmers. I get that. But a slaughterhouse right across the street from Voss Road is not the spot for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Oh, we got two coming up, so won't even.
Good evening. My name is Meg Vanden Langenberg. I live at 947 Voss Road, also directly across from Mr. Nettesheim's farm. Again, I come from a family of farmers, or my husband's family does, and that is one of the reasons we chose to locate where we did, to enjoy the farming and the beauty and support our local farmers. Not to say I wouldn't be in support of a new meat market. However, the location that Mr. Nettesheim is proposing is not appropriate for our area. The first reason being that he has taken into account where traffic would go, putting in the main entrance directly off of Market Street. However, there is a second driveway that loops around, that driveway comes out directly in front of my home. I also have two small children. Having large trucks come in and out of that driveway, as well as traffic leaving the market, it takes one snowy, wintry road and a bad turn, and they could end up in my front yard. With that said, off of that driveway is where his proposed septic tanks are. So there will be large trucks coming in and out of there because he will have animal slaughter waste that will be coming directly off of that driveway. Which leads me to my other major concern. Looking at the plans that he has proposed, and I know that they are set to be revised, he has a collection trench, stormwater basin, and a holding tank for animal waste, all closely contained together. So he has a wastewater off in the far corner, back behind the market, but in the opposite corner, directly straight down the driveway in the plans, you have water retention area, then you have the slaughterhouse, and then everything else for waste to drain in front of that. With that tank going bad and being so close to that water retention area, it just takes one bad event, it's in our groundwater. That comes directly to our homes. It doesn't abide by roads and trenches and causes a major safety concern. I'm also concerned of the new placement of cattle. Correctly, right now, that cattle is being housed in that pasture and in that 3.5 acres of land. If he plans on moving
30
that cattle
30
behind,
seconds left on your time limit,
it
ma'am.
will be put there, and it will also cause a smaller area, condensing the cattle. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure, you can come up and get, it's fine. If you could just come up to the microphone, so it's on record.
I want to know, a message was sent out by Mr. Swan regarding the meeting, which I believe which has impacted the number of individuals that are here discussing this right now. And I don't understand why that message was sent out alluding to the fact that this was going to not be discussed or not to put you on the spot, but
Yeah, I think
there's a lot of people that we got a message saying it was canceled.
Yeah, if you look at the email I sent, that's completely just wrong, and I don't know how that happened. I forwarded the people who contacted me previously to let
Okay.
them know that the county meeting, which was scheduled for the 19th on Thursday, that we, the city, and I know some people got notices from the county saying that there could be a meeting, public hearing on Thursday. So I was letting them know that the county had told me that that meeting was canceled.
Okay, so whoever forwarded it on to us was like, hey,
Yeah, I
didn't
encourage you
understand
to
what
look
was
at that
coming.
email because I was very, very explicit to say the county meeting's been canceled.
okay.
Our meeting is still tonight
I don't
at 5:30.
understand a lot
and
of
that
this,
there's
so
a-
it's
yeah,
probably
no.
ignorance on my
Yeah.
end. However, I read it and said, oh, I don't have to go. And then we called somebody and they're like, yeah, you should be here. So,
No, in my email, I actually said, I said on tonight's agenda, I said there's 2 items that the council will be discussing that are, that pertain to this topic. And
Right.
that if you want to come speak at the public hearing or during public comment, come to 5:30. So that was what my email said. So
okay. I just
unfortunately, it seems
misunderstood
like,
it.
yeah, no.
I apologize. Thank you for
Yeah, no
letting me-
problem.
Anybody else would like to talk? Gentlemen, I know you stood up before. Do you want to?
Pretty much, I would just be regurgitating all my.
Okay, that's fine.
Everyone else's issues that I also have on the aspect of.
Okay, I just didn't know if you wanted to state it on record or not, so. It's up to you.
Hello, my name is Chad Adamson. I also live on Pheasant Way, pretty much within 0.3 walking miles if you would walk the sidewalks to the place of the slaughterhouse. My neighbors in my subdivision, which a lot of people were not informed or does not know what's going on. Like most of us, we're connected through Facebook. But my concerns are definitely the smell, the air quality. I do have 2 young kids, 10 and 6. I lived in Elkhorn all my life, and I'm still here. I do have concerns about water, about it could have overflow, it could have problems. We already have problems in some spots with water, and it could, being a country boy myself and lived in 5 farms out in the country and all that, still in Elkhorn, and knowing people that do live on farms and take care of cattle and stuff like that, you do have a lot of waste, a lot of air pollution of not of, dead animals. I know farmers and a lot of farmers, they don't really, they look at a dead animal and they just either pulverize it, spread it out, or get rid of it. And you don't know exactly what's going on. But being a slaughterhouse, they have to follow by different rules. They have to definitely be in check all the time. But you also have that non-check. I fear the amount of also bacteria, the smell, flies, and being this close, looking up the Wisconsin State Statute ATCP 51-14, a livestock facility in which all livestock structure will be located at least 2,500 feet from the nearest affected neighborhood. 2,500 feet is equivalent of 0.47 miles. My house is, again, 0.3. And that is walking the sidewalk up to Market Street, coming back down and going to there. I feel sorry for the houses right across the street, which I'm right behind them. So getting the horse flies, getting the green flies that nobody likes because it lands on feces and all that, I can live with that. Getting the constant wind blowing
30 seconds left.
of all my concern is what everybody else is bringing up also, is that being so close to Elkhorn and the residential area, you're trying to enjoy food and that's all you can smell. And my fear is the fear of smelling death all the time, and my kids. And if this is gonna happen, I'm moving. And I'm gonna leave Elkhorn, and I'm gonna move closer to my work in Beloit. And I don't wanna do that, because I wanna stay in Elkhorn. Thank you.
Thank you. No, one more in back, maybe coming? Yep. Come on up, please.
Hello, my name is Stephen Hewlett. I live on 203 West Davenport Street. So I am on the other side of the subdivision from the development on Voss Road. My brother-in-law does live on Voss Road as well. A couple of things I'd like to point out. As a resident, I'm already concerned about the amount of traffic on Market Street and Voss Road. This will only make things worse. Vehicles are too fast on Market Street. Voss Road is not built for industrial traffic. So that puts a burden upon the city in terms of adjusting the roads and also on the residents of Voss Road, just in terms of their day-to-day life, getting in and out of their houses, of their driveways and so on. Before I was at Hanson's, in a previous life, I was a wastewater engineer. So I am familiar with what is required for the treatment of wastewater from dairy facilities, farms and so on. And with the best intentions, leaks will happen, accidents will happen. So I am concerned with the quality of wastewater, the quality of air, and with insects and particularly vermin in that sort of facility. We live in the country, we know that there are small critters around. This will only make things worse. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Okay, I'll close public comment then right now. Oh, it's already been said, okay. Just so the community knows too, later on in the agenda, we will be talking about extraterritorial zoning, having Elkhorn against Sugar, not against, but with Sugar Creek, and that'll be coming up in front of council discussion. But we won't be able to discuss the project or anything in detail about that. It'll just be for extraterritorial zoning, because that is what is on the agenda. So just so that knows, we do not have that right now with Sugar Creek, so we're looking to have that, so we would be able to discuss it in future meetings if it did come forward. So just so the community knows of what will be happening later in the meeting. Next, we have the consent agenda. We have the council meeting minutes of October 2nd, 2023. We have the change order number 4 for the 2022 sewer rehabilitation project with HydroClean LLC in the amount of negative $105,784.62. That was a decrease. And we have pay application number 7, final from HydroClean LLC for the 2022 sewer rehabilitation project in the amount of $113,325.31. Council?
Can we keep them all together?
Yeah, that's why I read them all together,
Okay.
so we can.
I'll make a motion to approve all three.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or discussion or changes? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody. Ken Minell,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes.
Motion passed to pass all consent agenda items. Next, we have bills payable, consideration and recommendation to pay. Bills this month were $4,078,665.19. They were all in your packet.
Make a motion to approve that dollar amount.
We have a motion to approve the bills. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion on any of the bills in your packet? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody.
Yes.
Motion passed on paying the bills. Next, report of city officers. Mayor report. We have a few things tonight. I'd like to recognize Stephen Flash for 25 years of dedicated service to the Elkhorn Area Fire Department, and Kurt Spotts Sr. for 23 years of dedicated service to the Elkhorn Area Fire Department. I'm going to turn it over to Rod now. We do have a couple plaques to present too, once Rod does his speech.
Stand right there, I think, Steve. Probably. Good evening, all. We're here to honor Assistant Chief Steve Flash and Kurt Spotts. They had, for their loyal dedication and commitment to the fire department and the community for the past 25 and 23 years respectively. Thank you. I want to thank you for helping me guide and shape the department to where it is today. Without you two having my back, I would not have had the successful career that I have enjoyed, and it has been my honor and privilege to serve alongside you. I will never forget your loyal friendship. I will always remember the first training burns that I had the honor and privilege of guiding you guys through, although it was 2 years apart, but almost the same stories. I knew that from that day, you guys were going to be damn good firefighters, and you did not disappoint. It was also my pleasure to watch you grow through the ranks and succeed at every level and retire in the current ranks you are today. In the fire service, we talk about brotherhood. You two are truly my brothers, and I love you guys dearly. Thank you again for all your many years of service, the department, the men and women that have served. We will never forget you. I wish you the best in your retirement and future endeavors. With that, I have a couple plaques, and I'm going to give you your helmets too to hang on your wall so your grandkids can see them.
Thank you. Rod, I know we want some pictures.
Yeah, sure.
Easy, that's Yeah.
I think I'm blocked.
To the crowd. Yeah, if you'd like to say anything, feel free.
I guess, yeah, I don't.
You have 3 minutes.
I don't know what you say. I mean, like I said, I'm getting the word for things that all you guys did and do. You know, I couldn't do this or couldn't have done this without him teaching me everything he has, and Kurt and the rest of the officers helping me through everything that we've done. the staff listening and helping and doing the right jobs. And my family, without letting me go and do what we do. You know, you leave all those events that they're at, and couldn't have done any of it without all you guys. So I guess it's a community award in my eyes, but I'll hang it up for everybody.
Again, thank you both and enjoy your retirement. Next, we have recognition of Mary Hinsky for assistance with budgeting and finance during the office transition. Mary was years ago our city treasurer and finance director, and we were out with a treasurer for a few months, and we asked Mary to come back and help us out in the office transition, and she came back and did a great job for us. So I'd like to give a plaque for Mary for her. Thank you, Mary, for everything, for helping us out.
There's a different one.
And although technically this is still the mayor's portion of the meeting, I do just want to add and say, Mary, thank you so much for your help. You know, as the mayor alluded to, we were down a treasurer, we were down an office manager this summer, and Mary came in. I mean, as the mayor said, you know, Mary worked for us from 1998 to 2014, so she was with the city for 16 years, and to spend, you know, enjoy some retirement in that period of time and to come back and help us out. And not only did she come back, but she worked her tail off for the last 3 months. I know she was really instrumental. We have a new, you know, budgeting software we're rolling out, and she, you know, dove right in and really helped us out. So, Mary, I really enjoyed working with you, and thank you so much. And I know Corey. I don't know, Corey, if there's something you want to say or.
I really appreciate her help, and I don't know if we would have gotten through this budget season without her, because she really jumped right back in like we've been working with together for years. It was a pleasure to work with you again, Mary. Thank you for taking time off in your retirement and coming back and helping us for a little while.
You're very welcome. Glad I was able to fit it in, and it went well. Thank you.
And just to be clear, just to be clear, because even though you're getting a plaque or certificate of appreciation, doesn't mean we won't, you know, call you again. So I'm just letting you know. But
I might have time.
Thank you, Mary. And next, we have a new Elkhorn firefighter, Chris Great. If you'd like to come up to the podium, and our city attorney will be swearing you in.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Chris Great,
I, Chris Great,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Wisconsin
and the state of Wisconsin
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
both foreign and domestic,
both foreign and domestic,
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties as firefighter
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties as a firefighter.
I didn't realize you had one to cheat from. I've done this a lot quicker. All right. Of the city of Elkhorn,
Of the city of Elkhorn,
under the appointment of the department,
under the appointment of the department,
according to the laws of the city of Elkhorn,
according to the laws of the city of Elkhorn,
to the best of my skills and abilities,
to the best of my skills and abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome.
Just to give you a little background and history, all the firefighters, they start out, they have a shield on their helmet. It's orange, and it says probationary on, so we all know where they are at all times until we get them trained to know what we do. And at the end, now they get the placard that goes on their helmet to say they're one of us, truly. And congratulations. And I hope you can last as long as these guys did.
Chris, Chris, can you come up here and sign your oath for me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Again, welcome, Chris. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next, Adam, City Administrator.
All right, just,
They're gonna probably leave, so if you want.
okay, all right.
Thank you.
It's always good to be able to clear out a room, I guess, but anyway. So,
Okay, that's enough.
just preliminarily, just to kind of follow up just a little bit more about, one of my updates for tonight was going to be about the fact that we got a notice from the county that, that they had originally were planning on having a public hearing on the Nedesheim proposal this Thursday, October 19th. But after we'd had a meeting with the county informed us that meeting was going to be delayed until November because the applicant has to submit a revised site plan. So for those people who had contacted me the last couple weeks, I told them that, if I heard anything more, I'd let them know. So obviously then when I got the notice from the county or confirmation from the county that their meeting was going to be canceled, that's why I then sent out that email today letting people know. So again, I apologize if there was a miscommunication or misunderstanding about what was going on. Just for confirmation, the planning, as far as we know, the town of Sugar Creek hasn't yet, the town board hasn't approved it yet. It's been approved by the planning commission. It's now sitting before the town board, and then the county has to actually approve it next. So that's kind of where things are at in the process. So that's just an update for the council and hopefully a little bit of explanation for those residents who are here tonight. Just real quickly, speaking of zoning, we were hoping to have the GDP for the Creekside development on the agenda tonight. Unfortunately, due to Elaine Ekus has been helping us a lot with zoning matters. We were getting her help on the ETZ and the interim ordinance that's on tonight's agenda. So she was big focused on that. When we realized we might need her help on the GDP ordinance, so unfortunately we didn't have time for that. So we're going to be looking to perhaps schedule a special meeting next Monday if the council's available to try and not only look at Creekside, but there's one other planning zoning matter that didn't get on tonight's agenda. So I don't know if I think we'll send an email out probably after tonight just to see if the council's available or Lacey
Well, let me
Oh.
know
will
if you're available next Monday at 5:30 ASAP.
So, so that is the plan for that for Creekside.
Yay.
I guess, would anybody not be available next Monday? Any of the council members?
Okay, we'll have a meeting next Monday.
Okay. All right, well, hopefully we can at least get 4 council members for a quorum. So, and then secondly, I had a meeting with the Cook family along with Matt, who they're preparing on listing their property for residential development. This is off of Nedesheim Road, right as you're getting ready to leave the city. So, looks like that's going to be moving forward here soon. So, those are my updates. And then just wanted to defer to Matt. Do you want to give an update about Centralia Street and leaf collection?
Sure. With Centralia Street, they just finished all the concrete work today. So they're adjusting manhole covers to final grade. They're putting down topsoil. They do plan on paving surface course beginning as early as Friday of this week. So again, still looking at the end of October timeframe as far as completion. So it's getting close.
Do you have anything on leaf update?
Leaf collection, we plan to start next week, Monday. We're still waiting for our mobile unit, but we do have that trailer, that pull behind trailer unit that we're getting ready with a new box this week. So we'll be ready next week, Monday.
Okay.
Yep, so that'll start our quote-unquote 6-week schedule for leaf collection. And again, this year is a little bit different than in the past. In the past, we've always, the city's always maintained like a daily collection schedule, which didn't allow us a lot of flexibility depending on which area in town you lived in with regards to if you had a lot of heavy trees or if you didn't have as much. So, but yeah, we'll start picking up on Monday. So as folks accumulate them, please place them out in the streets adjacent to the curb, and we'll be by to get them.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Thank you, Adam. Next, report of city boards and community partners. Fire advisory, we have one this month, Rod?
Yes, we do.
End of this month.
Yeah, the fourth Thursday.
Okay.
I believe
Next,
it's the 26th.
26, okay. Next, library.
We just got a couple of items here to share with the council. After 27 years of service, Gail Grice will be retiring as circulation supervisor. Her last day will be Tuesday, October 31st. To honor her, the library will be having a public reception from 3 to 5 p.m. on that day. Please stop by and thank her for her many years of excellent service. And then on a related note, library associate Sarah Cruel has been selected to replace Gail as circulation supervisor. Sarah has a history of many years of innovation and service as an associate, and we're very excited to see her into this new position. Her first day will be Tuesday, October 17th.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Next, recreation advisory.
Yep, our next Park and Rec Board meeting is on November 15th at 5:30.
And that's here, correct?
Yes, I had to confirm that with Lacey.
Okay. Next, Chamber of Commerce.
Refer to Chris?
Ken will refer to Chris, so.
Always. That's a recording now.
I think she might have a little event coming up this weekend, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Better
I
let
do.
her talk about it.
I did pass around to all of the council and the attendees. This weekend is our Oktoberfest. And fingers crossed, right now the weather forecast is partly sunny, 55, but it did say a four-letter word beginning with an R, potentially. But all I need is 55 degrees and somewhat of a little bit of a sun, and it's a fabulous day. We do close the 4-block radius of downtown. As we can calculate, if you measure Facebook traffic, things like that. And then we do geo-tracking of the event. And last year we can solidify that there was between 6,000 and 7,000 people downtown. So I hope you can join us for that day. The festivities start at 9 a.m. with crafters and vendors and food. And the beer tent opens at 11 to 5. So hope you can all join us. And right after that, I'm going to roll right into Christmas. So that'll be next time. We'll talk about Christmas. But hope you can join us.
Thank you, Chris. Community grant writer, Katie?
Hi, everyone. I spent the weekend actually in Chicago at a conference with the Department of Energy, speaking about the city of Elkhorn and Elkhorn Area School District as a representative of rural communities around the country, along with the city of Orlando, who represented urbans. It was a very good opportunity for me to speak to consultants and engineers, but also there were other federal agencies there from FEMA and the EPA talking about funding opportunities that they potentially have for Elkhorn. So I'm going to do some more research on those things. Last week came out the official Elkhorn community wish list. These were the grant projects that I'd previously spoken to you about that I'm hoping for local Elkhorn Angels to take care of for our community. And I printed 100 of them, and I've already seen 35 requests overall, sent them out. So hopefully I have some good news for you this time next month that some of these projects will be funded. Lastly, I wanted to mention that I'm about halfway through my Talking to Downtown Property Owners project about grant opportunities that are available to them to fix up their buildings and maybe help their businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have unfinished business. Discussion and possible decision regarding execution of a contract for municipal solid waste and recycling services with Badgerland Disposal LLC and LRS Company. Everybody's seen the contract in their packet and it was redone. And Matt, everything's fine with you?
Yeah, we received some feedback from Ward right after he got back, and I incorporated those comments into the contract that we had in place. There's a lot of good feedback that he had, so we put those in there, and I sent it back out for review, and I didn't hear anything else, so I think we're there. So,
Council, any questions, or do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Ken Minell.
Yes.
Motion passed for the contract with Badgerland Disposal for solid waste and recycling services. Bless you. Next, discussion regarding preliminary 2024 general fund budget and levy for taxes payable in 2024. It's all in your packet again. Adam, do you want to add anything?
Just real briefly, you'll see in the packet, there's a copy of the spreadsheet, which will be in the public notice for the public hearing we have at the next council meeting on the budget. Just wanted to mention, if you look at that spreadsheet, it does show the change from 23 to 24 for the budget. And it's got it broken down by different different areas like general government, law enforcement, fire protection, public works, and recreation. I just wanted to clarify before you guys give the PD too much credit. It says their increase is only 2%, but that's because their health insurance costs are actually lumped in with general government. So I just wanted to throw that out there that I don't want it to make it look like general government is the one that's just spent. They don't have a separate line item for health claims, whereas whereas the fire, public works, and rec do. So that's why when you see the 13%, 14%, 40% increase, it's because those are largely it's because of the health insurance costs. So now I will say to the PD's credit, they are under budget this year, so I'm not giving them too hard of a time. But I did want to explain that because it may look odd if you look at it. And then as I indicated in my memo, there were some relatively small changes since the last time you saw this. Largely due to incorporating some money for feasibility study for the fire department for about what to do for their fire station, and then transferring some expenses from the community development fund to the general fund, due to anticipated increases in the general, due to anticipated increases in some of the expenses for community development, including legal fees. So we seem to have more legal issues going on right now with development, zoning, et cetera. So.
Any questions for Adam on that, members? Okay, discussion regarding preliminary 2024 through 2028 capital improvement plan. Again, that was a spreadsheet in your packet.
It was. I just can real briefly summarize it. Since the last time you saw this, most of the changes were, a lot of them had to do with electric department, transformers and things that are needed for not only Creekside and some of the other developments. So that was a lot of things we added. We had to also incorporate the PD vehicle that wasn't delivered this year, which I know was mentioned last time. So that's incorporated in 24. The good news is we had already budgeted most of the money, so we're not having to borrow additional money for that. And then, like I said, we had to make some slight transfers between a couple of we had to take some money out of the capital equipment replacement fund because we needed to use it for the general fund. And then lastly, I guess two things. One, we did receive more money so far from the county than we were anticipating for the radios, so that's been incorporated in there, and we still may receive a little bit more. And then lastly, we had taken out the funding for the downtown feasibility study because we were going to charge that to the general fund for under geodebt. And I know that was something council wanted taken out, so we've, I guess, put it back in there using some community development reserve funds. And this is in part because when I went to the EDA meeting on Thursday, I was pressed by the EDA members that they really want to see this study. So not that it's going to be the full 75,000, but we do want to at least, the proposal would be to include some funding in there. So like I said, it would come from existing community development funds, of which we have enough reserves to cover it. So those are the biggest changes.
Okay. Any questions, council members, for Adam? Nothing? Okay, moving on to new business. We have discussion and possible decision regarding Badger Book Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Elkhorn and Wisconsin Elections Commission. Everybody had that in their packet and looked at it? Any questions?
Nope.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go ahead and sign the MO.
Okay.
MOU.
We have a motion to move forward. Do we have a second? Second, okay. Any further questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes.
Motion passed. Next, discussion and possible decision regarding proposed resolution 23-25, a resolution declaring the intention to exercise extraterritorial zoning power in the town of Sugar Creek. We do have our legal expert about our zoning here, if council members have questions or anything. Would you like to add, talk about any?
Sure, I can point out what you've got in your packet and their intentions. Obviously, good evening, Elaine Ekus, Special Counsel on Zoning Matters to the city. In your packet this evening is a resolution as well as an ordinance. Those are two separate items that allow you to begin to, if you so choose, assert extraterritorial zoning jurisdiction over a portion of the town of Sugar Creek. The resolution is definitely required first if that's what you want to do, and that's a complete discretionary decision of the Common Council if you want to exert that authority or not. And then the second part of it is the ordinance, and the ordinance works in tandem with the resolution, but would freeze the zoning in that portion of Sugar Creek. The mapping that's attached to the ordinance and to the resolution extends about 1.5 miles into the town of Sugar Creek. That's the extent of your ability to exercise jurisdiction as a fourth-class city. The actual boundary of that is, in some areas, is just slightly under 1.5 miles, depending on the location of the quarter section and section lines and roads in that area. And we can answer any questions if you have any regarding that map. I want to make sure that you know that this is a tool that you have at your disposal. It's not required, but many cities, and as you have in other towns, have exerted extraterritorial zoning jurisdiction over areas of the town that are immediately adjacent to your city, because those uses can affect your residents and the things that happen in your city. So it's one of the tools at your disposal as a city to be able to employ to address the land uses just outside of your boundaries. It is a tool that you work in conjunction ultimately with the town on. And the process, as indicated in the memo that you would have received, the confidential memo that I sent to you that you should have received prior to the meeting, that you'll ultimately begin in a planning process with the town to establish a plan for that area over the course of the next 18 months if you so choose to implement this process now. So I'm happy to take any questions that you might have. Certainly it's meant to be a cooperative process with the town, but it is a tool that you have at your disposal.
Council members, any questions?
My question is, when you say you're freezing the zoning for the next 18 months within 1.5 miles of the city limits, what, and I'm not talking about the project maybe we're not talking about tonight.
Thank you,
But
Tim.
if another project came up that possibly the city was interested in and the township was interested in, is the zoning frozen and they wouldn't be able to make a change, or are we allowed to make changes?
You would be able to work together to make a change. That might also involve your zoning board of appeals. But I think if there is a project that both of the communities are in favor of moving forward and it's good for the community, there's always a pathway, and we can help you find that pathway. But in the interim, it's meant to be a planning period for the town and the city to put a plan into place for that area that makes sense to both communities.
So it's a soft freeze.
Right.
All right, I got it.
It's a freeze that the city's allowed to do, and then if there are going to be, much like zoning, if there are exceptions to that, then you can work through that with the town.
Thank you.
And can that period be, can the 18-month delay suspension be ended sooner, at 12 months or an earlier
Yeah.
time than 18 months?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. So yes, it can be ended sooner if, and it's meant that the planning should start quickly so that you move that along, and it can end sooner. And likewise, if for some reason the joint committee that's established as a part of the plan to create the plan, if they believe that they need more time, they can actually make a recommendation to extend it for another 6 months as well.
So as soon as the plan with the city and the town is when it could be ended. So
Yep, as soon
6
as you
months
get
or
that.
8 months, it
Yes,
could be
as soon
done.
as you get it implemented, and that would certainly be the goal. You don't want to create unnecessary obstacles to good development. And so if you can move the process along well, which we certainly would encourage, then you can get that into place and everybody can get on with zoning life as it is.
And council members, we do have this with other towns around our city too already, so.
This is the only town that we don't have it with. and
Correct.
I don't know how it fell through, but we never have had one. I've sat on ETZ a couple different times, and we've always worked things out. Geneva Township, Delavan Township,
LaGrange.
just sit down, yeah, LaGrange. You just meet together, basically is what you do, and it's good for both sides. Not being good for the city, it's not good for sugar, it's good for both sides.
Okay.
So I'd be in favor of moving forward on Resolution 23-25.
Is that your motion, Ken?
Yes, it is.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to move forward with Resolution 23-25. Council members, do you have any other questions or concerns? Can I have a roll call, please?
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Carol Young.
Yes.
Motion passed on Resolution 23-25. Next, we have discussion and possible decision regarding proposed ordinance 23-12, an ordinance amending the Elkhorn Municipal Code by creating Article 17.6-7 entitled Interim Zoning Ordinance to preserve existing zoning in the extraterritorial zoning jurisdiction area of the town of Sugar Creek. This would be for the 18-month plan if we wanted to move forward. And we could have waive the first reading if somebody would like and do a second.
Motion to waive the first reading.
We have a motion to waive the first reading. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to waive the first reading. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Carol Young.
Yes.
Motion passed to waive the first reading. Now, if we have a motion for the second reading to incorporate or not incorporate ordinance 23-12, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
To
Approve.
approve
Second.
ordinance 23-12. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes.
Motion passed on ordinance 23-12. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you,
everything.
you're welcome. I'll be in touch then on finalizing.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
Next, discussion and possible decision regarding special event permit application from the Elkhorn Area Chamber of Commerce for the 2023 Christmas Parade. Everybody seen the memo in their packet?
It's Christmas.
Council members?
I suppose we ought to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Do you want to hear anything about why it's on the agenda?
Well, I read everything, so I figure let's go.
Well, we have a motion and a second we can discuss.
Sure. Chris, do you have anything to say?
Well, guess
Always.
we'll open Pandora's box. It's on the agenda because last year after the Christmas parade and at Oktoberfest, we had a recap meeting. And I filled out my permits in February. I submit them all to Lacey. I had a different route originally because the reason why I had a different route is because it was suggested by the police department and maybe a little easier for DPW. Instead of going all the way down Wisconsin Street to Geneva and then taking Washington and then cutting in, they wanted me to cut at Walworth and go straight into the fairgrounds. And I thought, okay, I'll follow it. But they let homecoming follow the old, what I was going to say was the Christmas parade route. So we discussed it. And yes, I understand logistically it takes more, but we do have a couple new businesses that would love to see. And I just want it to be open. I'd love to stay that route. I understand security issues. We don't want to be a Waukesha. You know, it does take manpower to do that route. But if there's going to be a change, let's make it in 24 and everybody follow the same parade route. That's what I'm asking for, is if I can have the same route this year, because otherwise, unfortunately, if I have to tell people that the route changes, who would you like me to have them call? Because it's not me that determines that. I'm just putting it out there.
I think, I think maybe council members, if we could do the same route, like Chris said, this year, and then put out a notice that it will be changing for next year. I don't
That's all
know.
I'm asking.
That's fine.
I mean,
That's reasonable, yes. Don't we have to vote down the motion that's on the floor?
right, we're still discussing, yeah, so we
And
could,
start
I
a
mean,
new
yeah,
motion.
we'd have to start a new motion, but, because the motion is to approve this.
Or withdraw the motion?
Or I can amend it.
Yeah, you could amend
I'll
it
amend
to-
my motion to have the 20, which route do you want? The old route?
The original route.
The original route.
The color road, that one, right
That goes down to Geneva.
For the 2023 and
then modify 2024
for all parades?
for all parades.
I'll do the same with my second.
We have a motion and a second.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything, I know you were looking to talk, maybe?
If I'm allowed.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. So I think the police department's position on this is a clear one. Post Waukesha, our goal here is to make the route, the parade goers, those in the parade as safe as possible. So this started last year. Before last year's parade, we had kind of made mention that we want to make changes. After the parade, we met. We made discussion on the changes. I thought we were kind of set on those changes. The permit was submitted back in February by the chamber with this new route. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago, October 2nd. We all sat down in the committee meeting. I thought we all agreed the new route was the way we were going to go. Again, this is a safety concern for us at the police department. We've had that southern block of Wisconsin Street. It's the parking lot in the back that is our biggest headache when it comes to securing it. We've had drunk drivers leave that parking lot, drive through the parade before. Luckily, no one's been injured. We've been able to make arrests. I've seen people drive through barricades down there. It's just a safety concern on our part. There's
Matt,
nothing
can you go
against.
back to the other map, please? Sorry, Al.
No, that's okay. There's nothing against the chamber or the businesses on the south side. It's just strictly safety for us. We can more easily lock this down, mitigate traffic around our area, and keep people safe. As well as it eliminates 3 positions that we have to put on the ground for traffic control on overtime. So we're trying to minimize that. Right now, it takes us 13 if we kept the old route. I only have 14 officers right now. That's all I have. We're short. So I gotta call everybody in on overtime to come work this parade. But that's really not important because they come in and do it anyways. The important thing is the safety of the people. We work with other agencies. We bring them in to help us do other security measures besides traffic control because we just don't have the bodies to do it. So our thought on this is we go with the new route. It does make it safer for everybody. We are making other changes this year as well, eliminating parking on Wisconsin and Walworth, which is creating more work for us, but again, it makes it safer for everybody else. We don't have the cars leaving mid-parade or right after their friends go through and then trying to leave. We've dealt with that issue in the past as well. So we're constantly making changes for safety, and that's really our biggest push here. So that's what I'll say on the matter.
Matt, is there a way, talking about that back parking lot that he was talking about, is there a way we could put like trucks at the entrance and on each thing that they couldn't leave? Nobody could leave during the parade?
I believe one of those entrances is private owned.
Right. We talked about that this morning at a meeting that we had, and the concern is people jumping the curb anyway, and whether we are or are not allowed to block private property.
Well, I was just thinking of our parking lot, that's right. Because I think that other one, you can't, the box drop parking lot, you can't get through to the other parking lot, I don't think. I think
No,
that's
but it's an
blocked.
alley.
Chain there. I mean, they want to drive through if they could.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go back and look at the map and I don't know if discussing our safety
Yeah, I don't think we
perimeters
want to
is
go
probably
into too
best
much
in a
detail.
public format, but we currently deploy, I think, at least 4 plow trucks the way that it is. We have like 3 staff out there, so I mean, it's we could always do that, but I'd rather discuss that in another.
Sure, no, that's fine. I just wanted to throw the idea out in case it,
I am all for the safety of it, I guess. The only thing is, I left our meeting when we had it, and I just didn't feel comfortable that if I am the change, that it's going to change in the future. if I leave here tonight and know that the new proposed route is what is going to happen going forward, I am all okay with that. I will deal with it. We will all have to deal with the downtown. That is, I just want to make that clear. I want safety too, that I don't want to be that parade director that has that. I just want to know, really, ultimately, at the end of the day, I want to know that I'm not going to be the guinea pig and it's going to go backwards. I just want to know that this is going to be the new parade route, cut and dry, because I think that's only fair.
So how is it the school was able to do homecoming and do the old map?
That I do not know.
The school came to us, we went to the school initially and asked them to change because Geneva Street was a larger nightmare to try and secure with the children or the kids coming down it and everything for our department and to make it as safe as possible. So we asked them to change it. We tried to get them to do this new route. They kind of fought against it a little bit. So we did settle on the old route for this year. We're going to go back and revisit that with them for next year. The only difference is that the parades you can't really compare them 100% of the way. You have a lot more people in the Christmas parade versus the homecoming parade. It's also a different day of the week and different time of the day. For the homecoming parade, I mean, it's 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon. Most of the businesses are closed downtown, or a lot of them are, for it. Otherwise, the homecoming parade is 4 o'clock, 4:30 on a Friday afternoon. Businesses are full. It's tough for us to eliminate the parking and do things like that. So we did the best we could with that because it's a smaller, shorter, quicker parade to get them through the downtown area. Like I said, our goal is to go back and revisit that with them for next year and make that change.
Could we just, I wanted to speak to the route that they used to have, just because it was not anything close to what the Christmas parade route ever was. So they used to start at the high school and work their way west on Geneva, and then they would head north on Wisconsin.
Correct.
And then go all the way to Court Street.
And then
Then head east.
Jackson.
Yep, then head east, back over to Fairground Avenue, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So they switched it to the parade route, which is not like the one that's shown. They do continue to head south on Wisconsin and then cut over on Geneva and then go back up on Washington. That's the route that they had used this year. And again, from speaking with Captain Al, it just seemed that was a compromise that was made because the PD had already told them to totally kind of switch up their planned route from previous years. So it wasn't like, I just wanted everybody to get a clear understanding. I hope that makes it clear of why the change was made. So they did make some compromises already this year, the school did, understanding that in '24 it would be changed again.
So council, on your motion, it's to keep it this year, this original route, and moving forward after that, change the route.
Correct.
Is that for everybody? Yep. I mean, is your motion still good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the map we're looking at right now that says 2023 Christmas parade route will become the only parade route. Is that what I'm understanding?
Starting in 2024.
In 2024.
Starting 2024.
2024.
Proposed.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes.
Motion passed to keep the Christmas parade route the same as it was in the past, but moving forward in 2024, it'll go to the new parade route that was proposed for all parades in the city. Okay. Next, discussion and possible decision regarding SWAT team assignment. You have anything to add, Al, on that?
It's pretty straightforward. Officer Renner was selected to the SWAT team earlier this year. He's new to the team, however, with his military background, and he is a bit of a go-getter himself. He's put himself through quite a few different trainings. He has a unique set of skills that they want to promote him to a specialized position. And that position requires some additional training and equipment. So that's what we're asking for here.
Council members?
I make a motion to approve it.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Pearson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Carol Young.
Yes.
Motion passed regarding the SWAT team assignment for Officer Runner. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned, and thank you, everyone.